better that way. Okay. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Labor, joining with state legislators and the community of Central Brooklyn, is gathered here today for the central purpose of defending the vital institution known as SUNY Downstate Hospital. We are here to stop the announced plan to close Downstate Hospital, and it really is an abominable and an unacceptable plan. We reject this plan as reckless and destructive. Central Brooklyn is a community which is predominantly African American and immigrant, desperately needs more and better health care and not less. We are calling immediately for all steps that have been taken thus far, and steps have already been taken, to end the work in this sacred facility. Will our community, our members, have seen through the facade of re-imaging or restructuring? The plan must be stopped, and we call on Governor Hochul to announce that Downstate will not close, and that a serious effort be made to improve the hospital, which is needed, and to improve health care in Central Brooklyn. Yes. And make no mistake, the hospital needs investment, because under Governor Cuomo, the hospital was stressed and starved of state support. Now, we're told that the hospital is in terrible condition. We reject this assessment. Apparently, Governor Cuomo rejected the assessment as well, because in the most darkest, worst days of COVID, Downstate was declared to be the city's only COVID-only hospital. As such, it was more than adequate to serve the thousands of patients that were stricken by that disease and needed to be healed. More than that, our members put their lives on the line during that time period to save others, to save all of us. They deserve better. The community deserves better than a slap in the face, which is what this plan is. The courageous healthcare professionals. Downstate, 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 downstate. Even more importantly than the sacred work that was done during COVID and continues to this day, even more importantly, the community of Central Brooklyn deserves the best health care possible. Because if black lives truly matter, the governor, the legislature, the community, and all stakeholders must come together to make a better Downstate a reality. It is a must, and it must happen. This is an obligation the state of New York must honor, and we gathered here will not abandon the sacred work done at Downstate. We will not abandon the hospital that serves over 400,000 patients annually. And we will not abandon the people of Brooklyn. Not today, not tomorrow, never! It is now my privilege to introduce the strongest, most committed advocate to the sacred work going on at Downstate, and that is Senator Zellner Myrie.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is a good afternoon indeed. The sun is out. I see some smiles, but But we should not have to be standing here today. Say it louder. We should not be standing here today. Our community, our people walked past refrigerators with dead people in them. We had to walk past that every day. Our people died. They died in the institution on the floor. We have doctors that had heart attacks. Nurses contracting COVID, dying. We were the only COVID hospital. And you have the temerity, the audacity, the guts to tell us you want us closed? How dare you? How dare you? When we are called upon to serve, what do? Serve! We serve! We don't ask questions. We know what the community needs, and we serve. And in return, we have gotten a slap in the face. Thank you for your service, but no thanks. They don't eat our food, y'all. They don't drink our water, y'all. They don't take our buses, y'all. They don't take our trains, y'all. They don't go to our birthday parties. They don't go to our funerals. But they want to tell us how much health care we deserve. We're not going to stand for it anymore. We will not stand for it anymore. Because it is personal. When I had COVID, I didn't go to a fancy Manhattan hospital. There's not a special hospital for senators to go to that I went to. I went to Downstate. Saved my life. They've saved so many lives in this community. Every single day. And you tell us that the solution is to close. If you're a black woman in central Brooklyn and you want to give birth, you want to give life, good luck. You're 8 times more likely to die just for being black. Just because you are black. 8 times more likely to die. And who is at capacity? Downstate, Kings County, 95% plus capacity for delivering babies. And everyone wants to wave the maternal health flag when it is convenient. But our black women and babies are dying in central Brooklyn, and your proposal is to close us. That means our black women don't mean anything to you. My wife, a black woman, means nothing to you. My mother, a black woman, means nothing to you. But we come today in love. Don't confuse our passion for disarray or despair. We come in love. We come in peace. We come in justice. Let's turn the maternal health crisis into a maternal health miracle. And we're going to start it in central Brooklyn. We reject this plan out hand. We reject this plan out hand. Come to us with the maternal health miracle. Dream with us. Dream with us together. We can make it happen. And don't come around looking for votes. Looking for votes during election time. Y'all love to come to central Brooklyn, boy. Do y'all love it? You better step up for our people. Period. Because we deserve it. And we will walk with our heads held high because we are a proud people. We will not despair. We are not threatening. We are not begging. This is a warning. Do right by my community, or you won't just hear us today. You will hear us tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after, until justice is done. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Next, we have the President of the American Federation of Teachers and a long ally of Downstate who has been with us in this fight previously and will be with us this time, and there will not be a next time, Randy Weingarten.
You like me. Can you hear me up on the staircase? Can the kids from Yonkers hear us? So, can you hear me over there? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Because you know, I taught in Brooklyn, in central Brooklyn. I lived in Brooklyn for many, many, many years. I came up to Albany many times from Brooklyn. Brooklyn used to have a special place in Albany because, as the senator actually said, Brooklyn is the heart and soul of New York City. Brooklyn is the heart and soul of working class New Yorkers. Brooklyn is the heart and soul of working class black New Yorkers. Kids who came to Clara Barton High School see me, they were born in Downstate Hospital. Brooklyn is a community. Yes. And it's a real community. And even with all the skyscrapers now and all the curiosity now, Brooklyn is a community. Yes. And you heard it from the senator before. If a hospital is good enough to be the key savior of life during COVID, then that hospital is good enough to thrive after COVID. I'm here today because I have been on the lines walking outside and inside of Downstate every time a governor has tried to use it as a piggy bank. And I'm here again today to call that out. There is something more than whatever a budget bottom line is. And that's part of what we're all talking about in terms of Downstate. One or two facts. I come from a family of teachers and a family of healthcare providers. It is not easy to be a nurse, a PT, an OT, an RT, or a doctor these days. Downstate graduates more doctors of color than any other medical medical school in the United States of America. That means, in my world, you support it and do everything that you can to support that work and make it the centerpiece of Central Brooklyn. You make Downstate better. You don't close Downstate. Number two, Downstate's College of Nursing has one of the few remaining accelerated nursing programs in the country. It maintains close to 70% diversity. If you don't understand healthcare, you don't understand what a nursing crisis we have, and Downstate's nursing program bucks that trend. As a result, when you have that, you support Downstate. You make it better. You don't close it. Number three, and you heard this from the senator already, we have real health issues around the country and around our beloved city and state. One of those is maternal health. We need to expand maternal health. We need to make it better. We need to make Central Brooklyn the center of improved maternal health. That means a better Downstate, not a closed Downstate. So, you know, I may be the national president now, but I don't understand what the heck is going on here. Brooklyn is rising. We should not have a race to the bottom in Brooklyn. And closing Downstate Hospital is a big signal that it's a race to the bottom, not a race to the top. And you don't need to be from Brooklyn to know that. So I am here today to make it crystal clear that the American Federation of Teachers, which is the fastest growing healthcare union right now, and one of the fastest growing unions right now, we will do everything in our power to keep Downstate open, to make it better, and make it the thriving place it should be.
Thanks very much, Randy. Next, I would like to bring to the podium a man who has stood with me over the past few years in defending our members at Downstate, a real champion for labor and public workers in New York State, Wayne Spence.
So what can I say about the fact that we're here again talking about the closure of Downstate? In 2012, we had to fight Governor Cuomo. In 2012, we did not know what was coming in 2020. But thank God we got it right. Thank God Bill de Blasio got it wrong because he stood with the other group. We were able to talk about Downstate, and not from the point of the jobs, that is the fourth largest employer, but from the fact of what it delivers to the community. And that was no more apparent than in 2020, because they talk about the number of lives that died and lost, and the refrigerated trucks. But what would have happened if Downstate did not stay open and we had lost it in 2012? How many people would have died? But because of us, because of the community, and because I believe in my God that He had a higher purpose, we survived. But yet, we are here again to talk about the survival after it was proof that this hospital has a role to play in Brooklyn? Can we believe we're having this conversation? Can you believe they are challenging your work in this community? Shame! Shame! Shame!
Now I'd like to bring to the podium my union sister, the president of New York State United Teachers, Melissa Person.
So before I start, I want to start a little chant again.
Yes.
Brooklyn needs
Downstate.
Brooklyn needs
Downstate.
Brooklyn needs
Downstate.
All right, thank you. All right. So I am here on behalf of NYSET's 700,000 members across the state of New York to throw our support behind Downstate and maintaining Downstate as a thriving hospital in central Brooklyn. Now, I am a Bills fan. I'm going to start with that. I was excited to see the proposal to expand and build a new stadium and to see $850 million of taxpayer dollars invested in the community in Western New York. I'm also a Brooklyn fan. Brooklyn babies and mothers deserve no less. Let us take a page out of the Bills playbook. Let's urge our state to invest capital, expansion, address the maternal health crisis in Brooklyn. The babies and the mothers of Brooklyn deserve no less than our bills.
That's right.
They deserve a fair start in life, and they deserve this state and the investment that it can provide. Because Brooklyn needs
Downstate.
Brooklyn needs
Downstate.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Melinda. We are fortunate in New York State to be led as a labor movement by a great president of the New York State AFL-CIO, a man of the working class who's proud of it and leads the AFL-CIO in the tradition of great labor leaders throughout American history, a true brother in labor, and my friend, Mario Salento.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you. On behalf of the 2.5 million members of the New York State AFL-CIO, union members across this state, the labor movement calls upon all powers that be to keep SUNY Downstate open. This is about access to health care in the community. This is about a pipeline for teaching future generations of healthcare professionals. This is about the community. This is about the hundreds of jobs that will be lost if this hospital shuts down, and we will not allow it. Am I right? Now, this is important to the labor movement for a lot of reasons. Our members are of the community. Our members live in the community. When union members get sick, they go to SUNY Downstate for their health care. And as I said, we have hundreds and hundreds of healthcare professionals that we represent who bring people back to good health. And that's why we have to say, collectively, we join together and come up with a plan for the future of SUNY Downstate and its community. Because if we do not, what we are saying is, we give up. We're saying, we give up, right? Right. We're saying, we're just going to throw our hands in the air and walk away because we can't handle it. Is that the case?
No!
But that's what we're saying. We are more than capable in this state of bringing all parties together. Bring together our state leaders. Bring together the leaders of SUNY Downstate. Bring together our local community leaders. Bring together our political leaders from the district. Bring together the labor leaders who represent all of the workers in this hospital and say, we are going to come up with a plan for the future of the hospital and for their community. That's what we are saying. That is what we are proposing, because here's the deal. If we want to consider ourselves an enlightened society, and we like to consider ourselves enlightened in this state, right? We do a lot of things. We've led the way. But if we want to continue to consider ourselves an enlightened state and society, then we can and we will and we should be judged by how we treat those who need our help the most. And those who are in dire need of health care need and deserve our help above all else. That's what this is. So, to be clear, the New York State AFL-CIO, the labor movement in this state, calls for SUNY Downstate to remain open and to bring all parties together to come up with a plan for the future of SUNY Downstate, the future of its patients, the future of its workforce, and most importantly, the future of its community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. We are now joined by the Assembly member who represents the district right around Downstate, and that is Assembly member Brian Cunningham.
Good morning. Good morning. Let me first start by saying back in 2000, they made a decision without us. They made a decision to make us a COVID-only hospital. And that had consequential impact. It had an impact on the budget that created a bigger hole that was a glaring hole for years. This time around, they're not allowed to make the same decision without us. So what we are demanding and asking for is a conversation with the folks who are going to be impacted after the decision is made. We need an institution like Downstate in our neighborhood, and we will not tolerate anything less than a conversation to make sure that our values, our needs are centered in the conversation. Thank you so much.
Now I'd like to bring to the microphone the woman who is leading our chapter at Downstate, bringing to life a powerful community in support of our work, our hospital, our community. Praditha Abrahams-Nichols.
With a message. Does everybody hear me? From the people of Central Brooklyn, as I live and work in the community. I've worked at Downstate for 23 years in various positions, as a staff nurse, as the nurse leader in the emergency room during the COVID pandemic, and as the ADN in the ambulatory service. Can you hear me? I don't know. The hospital is essential to the population in Central Brooklyn. I want everybody to know the hospital and the school is a package deal. It's not one without the other. I believe this is an attack on higher education and health care, all at the same time. During the pandemic, we risked our lives. We didn't expect this. We keep trying to prove ourselves to the state of New York, and every time we turn around, we are defunded, not reinvested in. And so we are demanding that the city, the state, and the federal government do something about this. I heard the Chancellor, I went to the meeting, the Chancellor presented his plan. He spoke about the fact that most of the time we're running at 150 census. What he doesn't consider is that a lot of time those patients are in the ER in the hallway because we don't have the facility to isolate patients on the floor. No one is talking about that. The Chancellor said there were 3 guiding principles for his transformation plan. The medical school would not be harmed. that Central Brooklyn services would not be compromised and we need to be fiscally responsible. That is not true. Residents and medical students are talking about should they put Downstate as #1 to match without the hospital. We are together. Compromising services. Kings County does have services, but if someone in the community have a heart attack, how do we ensure that they're not transferred to Manhattan to receive the rest of their care? Fiscally responsible since 1995. They have not been fiscally responsible. And I'm going to close by saying, of course I work at Downstate because I expect good quality health care for Black and brown people.
Thank you, thank you. We have a large number of friends and allies in the state legislature, and I would like to lead the parade, so to speak, right now, with someone who I've enjoyed working with over the years, a force of nature, committed to justice, racial justice, economic justice, social justice, and certainly health care justice, Assemblymember Latrice Walker.
But there's one weapon, Fred, that they didn't know that we had. Yes, I am from Brooklyn. Yes, I go to SUNY Downstate. But yes, I am also a NYSED union member. And so this fight is personal. We are standing here to say that our zip code should not determine the type of healthcare transformation that we are getting in our community. We are saying that we need money for hospitalization and not for mass incarceration. We are saying that we need money for hospitalization and not for banks and corporations. We are going to fight to continue to keep health care at a top-notch quality in the greatest borough in the land, Brooklyn. We have to recognize how important this issue is. Every time I stand at this podium, I try to understand why do Black and brown people have to fight the hardest. And then I realize that there is a legacy that we are fighting against. It is a legacy that tells me as a Black woman that I can endure pain more than any other group of individuals in this country. It is a legacy that shines bright on the second floor because there is a Confederate flag that shines each and every day in our face that tells us that in the zip code of 11212, 11233, 11207, 11215, that we are not good enough. But we say hell no. We are going to fight, 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 because access to health care is our right. Fight, 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 because access to health care is our right. Peace. I am Assemblymember Latrice Walker.
Thank you. Joining us now is the chairperson of the Senate Higher Education Committee and a strong supporter of higher education, including the SUNY teaching hospitals, Senator Toby Ann Stavisky.
Thank you, Fred. On Martin Luther King Day, that Monday, I received a call saying that they were going to be closing Downstate. And I said to myself 3 words. What's the rush? What's rush. SUNY Downstate has the same rights as any other institution and probably deserves extra help because this problem goes back to 2012 to 2020 when it was the COVID-only hospital, and you were good enough to take everybody, but you're not good enough today, baloney, as we used to say. It's been replaced by other words. But I represent Queens County, which used to be part of Brooklyn many years ago. And when I was teaching at Brooklyn Tech, I was a member of the UFT. And there's been a controversy about the famous rug in our conference room, the lack of the symbol E pluribus unum. And yet that is the story, really, of the labor movement, I think. Out of many, one. Yeah. And we are together. Yes. And I think our motto ought to be New York needs downstate. Yes. New York needs downstate. New York needs downstate. New York needs downstate. New York needs downstate.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much, Senator Stavisky. Next, joining us is an Assembly member who literally lives right down the street from downstate and has many personal stories to talk about in terms of downstate and its role in your life. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce Assembly Member Monique Chandler Waterman.
First, I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you. Yes. I remember being a young mother, having my first child during 9/11. Why am I bringing a child to chaos? And I went to Downstate Hospital to help you during that most vulnerable time. When you're having a baby, it's 1 foot in the grave, I was told, and 1 foot out. But I had the backing of those you see behind me.
That's right.
And we're going to continue. And we're going to continue backing you. In the time of crisis, who do they call? Downstate. COVID-19, pots and pans were banged. Our heroes are now feel like zeros. Those clouds are now slaps. Our voices matter. Nothing for us without us. We can share blame. We can share successes. We need to share a plan. How can you tell a doctor, a nurse, our union members, how many beds are filled or not filled? How can you divest from a hospital and expect it to be successful? We need full funding. We need investment. We need a sustainability. But it comes from you being at the table. So I stand here united with you, by your side, like you were there when I was having my first child. And when it comes to maternal health, and when the senator was talking about that, I'm part of that. My child is part of that. And this is Black History Month. All my life we had to fight. Why do we gotta continue fighting? I stand on the back of our ancestors today. We are fighting with you. We are fighting right next to you. I should not have thought about this plan. Through my community members, through my neighbors. We were not a part of the process, but not anymore. The disrespect starts today. Woo! I am New York State Assembly member Monique Chandler Waterman. I stand with you. We need to stop this. I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Next up, joining us from the New York State Senate, a good ally for public higher education also, Senator Ai-wen Chu.
Thank you. I'm State Senator Ai-wen Chu. I come from Southern Brooklyn. But guess what? No matter you're from Central Brooklyn, Southern Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, or the whole state of New York, we're in this together. I need to make it very, very clear for our message. During COVID time, they pick us up. They protect us. When SUNY Downstate are teaching a group of our future healthcare leaders so our society can have good health, quality of health, our society can be better. Now they got left out. That is not acceptable. I want to make this message very clear. When there's any transition, we need to make SUNY Downstate healthier. When any transition, all of them, every one of them need to have a voice at the table. Cannot ignore them. SUNY Downstate, I'm with you. Thank you.
And apparently, we've been making enough noise, and it's attracting more legislators to show up. So nicely done. Downstate. Brooklyn needs 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 Downstate.
When do we want it?
Now.
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 Brooklyn needs
Downstate.
Brooklyn needs
Downstate.
Brooklyn needs
Downstate.
Take the man? No. Take the man?
No.
Be hot. Take the man? No. Take the man?
No.
Be hot.
Woo!
Take the man? No. Take the man? No. Coming hot.
All right.
Coming to them.
All right. Next up, I would like to welcome Senator Natalia Fernandez.
All right, I know Brooklyn's in the house. I know Brooklyn is here, and we are here from Brooklyn. I am State Senator Natalia Fernandez, coming from the Bronx. And I'm here because the Bronx stands with Brooklyn. If this can happen in Brooklyn, the biggest borough in New York State, then it can happen anywhere. And we need to send a strong message that enough is enough. We will not take less when it comes to our health care.
That's right.
I am here in solidarity, standing with you and my colleagues, because this is not right. The budget is a moral document, so you're telling us, Executive, that you have no morals. You're telling us that you don't care, and we will not stand for it. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. I am with you in this fight.
Thank you. Next up, Senator Jamal Bailey.
Like my pastor, like y'all pastors say, I won't be before you long, but this time I really won't be before you long. What does the Bronx have to do with this, you ask? Is it just because my brother Z asked me to be here? Well, that's part of it, but Senator Fernandez illuminated it. It's not like my constituents don't go to Brooklyn. It's not like when they're in Brooklyn, they don't get sick. People that live in the Bronx and Mount Vernon throughout the state don't just get sick in their zip code. They don't just get sick where they live. They get sick everywhere. And where do you want somebody sick to go? The place that they give great health care. SUNY Downstate is one of those places. It is critically important that we make sure that Downstate remains open. Because when we talk about the black maternal health struggle, the Northeast Bronx is the mirror image. Community Board 12, where my wife and I reside, has the highest incidence of black maternal mortality in the city. If this hospital is closed, then what happens in the Northeast Bronx? What happens in Southeast Queens? What happens in Mount Vernon? People here in the labor movement stood with us when they tried to close a hospital in the city of Mount Vernon. They said no. I say no. MS 144 is here. Bronx Science is here. The entire state is here. We are here to stay that while a tree grows in Brooklyn, a hospital stays in Brooklyn. Downstate gotta stay.
Give it up for the Bronx! Yeah! Nicely done. Thank you. I do want to mention that Assemblymember Pat Fahey was here, had to leave to go to a hearing. Another strong supporter, chair of the Higher Ed Committee in the Assembly. We have come to the point where we want to wrap up here, but I do want to say one thing, and then I want to hear from you all again, because you're doing so well. We must remember that this nation, when it was at its best, is when they dreamed big things. They dreamed of justice and of what is right. Now, we are being told that we ought not to dream anymore, that we ought to accept failure and abandonment of the principles we hold dear. And I say there's no way. We are not going to trade our visions for this nightmare. We will fight together and we will be heard. Because all of New York needs downstate. 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 Perfect. So I want to thank all of you for coming. We have the media here and those in the media who would like to ask any questions. Nearly all of our speakers are still here, so we'll be happy to answer them as you may have them.